Hey guys, what's going on? Um, First of all, another late one. Another late podcast. I'm getting kind of inconsistent about this. Basically, I don't, I don't like to do that to you guys, and it's not fair to y'all. I know I say I'm gonna be on this bitch every Sunday. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, every Sunday. Honestly, I've been trying to think of like new things to do for this podcast, right? So I understand that it's just me talking, um, either bullshitting or just trying to, I don't know, make this an intellectual podcast. And it's, obviously it's labeled online as a comedy podcast. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to talk about my days pretty much, think about thoughts, stuff like that, because, it's still kind of a fairly young podcast compared to most. And I just know that if I'm ever going to get traction and have people come on here or listeners, I just got to be consistent and hopefully everything falls through. So far, what I done for this podcast is not only that we have a Gmail that people can write in and tell me stories or give their 2 cents, maybe give me comments, whatever. Which, by the way, as we all know, it's called the It's Whatever Cast at gmail.com. So you can email me there. Um, but now we have a Twitter, but it's no longer called Twitter. It's called X, whatever that means. Mainly because I think Twitter uses porn now. I think everybody's been posting up their dick and balls up there. That I guess Elon Musk just said, "Fuck it, let's call it X." Um, which, by the way, he's a character on his own. Like, yeah, he names his kids like fucking Roman numerals and shit. I don't fucking like his own kids is like a fucking barcode. But um, but yeah. So we got a Twitter. I'm still gonna call it Twitter. I think it's called It's Whatever Cast on there too. But if I can look that up for you guys later if you guys are interested. Um, been posting on TikTok too. So far, I only have one video of my face, and so if anybody's curious, we got that going on. That's also called It's Whatever Cast. Um, so basically, I come to find out a few things about my podcast, which is the name. It's whatever. Yo, nobody even told me that like I have taken a name from like a bigger podcast, like a podcast that's easily doing some numbers. And I come to find that out through my sis. Um, I'm debating. I'm debating. Maybe some of y'all can help me out. But I'm debating on changing the name. Um, Hell, since I'm always late to shit, I wonder if I can change it to like Daddy's out for milk right now or some bullshit because it looks like I'm never on time, huh? I'm always saying I'm coming back on a certain day and I just don't. No, but yeah, I want to make numbers. I want this podcast to flourish because the point of this podcast is not just to be therapeutic for me, me talking out loud like I do that shit anyways, but no, I want it to be like a podcast where other people can voice their opinion, tell me their stories, tell me their walk of life, tell me what they're going through, tell me, ask for my advice if I can offer any. Because at the end of the day, like I don't know, I want to help people, but I also want people to have an outlet. And sometimes, people feel that they don't have anybody to talk to, and I've been that person. I've been, but you know, in a position where I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody. I felt like all I was gonna get when I talk to somebody is nothing but judgment or not understanding where I'm feeling or where I'm coming from on this. Like I've also had people try to be godly about their advice. And what I mean by godly is not religion advice. I'm more like acting like their advice is the holy grail. kind of thing. It's like, oh, I'm right and there's no other answer. But I don't like to believe that. I feel like even with one problem, there's multiple answers, and that's what I have to believe because that's how my life has always worked. Whenever I thought one way, turns out there was many other ways to do something, and that's the lessons I've learned. So, so speaking of problems, though, um, so as you guys may know, I did a podcast maybe one or two podcasts ago. I broke down around Christmas time, pretty much sad and depressed and a whole bunch of shit going on, where I pretty much talked about not like me getting fired, and I was already struggling to find a job when I got that job, and it's not really fire. I think it was a let go. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't have a job, so um, I've been on a job search, and thanks to the love of my family, like they really stuck their necks out for me, and I appreciate that 110% because if I was just on my own, I could never do what they done for me, which I'm not too proudful to deny. So, I'm glad to know that there's people out there that's willing to help me, and vice versa. You know, because I don't know, I feel like I have this old school thing about me, which like if somebody does something for me, I don't know why, but I always feel indebted to them. Like I have like a unspoken loyalty. Like even if like a homeless guy gave me a fucking half-bitten sandwich, I feel like I owe that guy now. Like I need to do whatever I can for that guy. You know, some people will abuse it, and I have to recognize that because I have some family members, believe it or not, that would abuse me like that. I'm not gonna say any names, but you know who you is. Um, so there's that. But yeah, going back to the jobs. So now I have things lined up. I think I mentioned maybe one podcast ago. No, make that two. Um, that I was going for an interview to work at a hospital. Well, it looks like that actually may be coming true, which I'm grateful for because I was actually very confused earlier this week. I think it was over the weekend. That I think this is kind of partially why I didn't do a podcast. I think over the weekend, I received a email pretty much saying that I don't got the job, that they decided to move forward with another candidate. And it turns out that other candidate was me, but they didn't let me know. Apparently, that was like a mass email telling everybody who applied the job that that they didn't get it. And then 3 days later, here I go. They called me back today saying, "Hey, listen, we got you. We want you to have the job," which is perfect. I'm appreciative, but the thing is that when I first got the initial email, I was I uh I was discouraged, so I actually applied for another job, uh, a job that I knew I would get, and I got an offer from that job. So now I'm on a cross paths where either I choose job A that denied me a first time, but they want me now, or job B that you know that I'm working with. The thing about job B is that, which by the way is going to be working at a warehouse kind of thing, working with equipment that builds, I believe they call Bowie systems for the military. So I was going to go into that. Um, but yeah, what was I saying? No, the thing about job B is that I'm already like halfway through. I signed my offer letter. I signed, saying that I'll come on. I did my I-9 forms. I just went for a urine test today. I still got to do a physical test where they're gonna see my physical capabilities on Monday, which I have no problem with because I'm strong as shit. And and yeah, and then the other one just called me today. Like I said, we haven't even got stuff started with them yet. So we shall see, I guess. So basically, people want me to work for the hospital. Like my family wants me to do it, my partner wants me to do it because they believe that in the long run it actually might be beneficial for me because well, basically I am trying to go into tech and I have a again family that is trying to guide me into the tech field, and I have some guy on the inside of the hospital that could possibly do that for me. And if I can get in tech, ooh, that's good money. Because the main reason why I want money, all right, at the end of the day is yeah, like it would be nice to lower some debts. It'd be nice to live in a better place, maybe a home. But really, the main goal is to have enough money that I can provide for a future family. Like I want to start having my own family. I know I'm still young. I'm in my late 20s, but I got people who are already married at my age. I got people who already have kids. Um, I'm old enough to actually see people in my life die now. Like, and I'm not talking about people older than me. I'm talking about people my age. So that's interesting to actually see that happen. Um, so it's been a ride for sure. Uh, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So what I'm doing is kind of a shitty thing to do, in my opinion, because in my head, I'm very appreciative that somebody even offered me a job. Like now here comes that thing where I feel like I'm indebted to that company that offered me the job. But I also know that if I want the insight to the tech, I'm gonna have to do that hospital because and it's further away. It's the same pay compared to the factory job. The factory job is like right around the corner for me. So like I have that convenience, and I'm gonna be spending a little bit more gas money for traveling back and forth between where I am now and Orlando. So it's something. It's a difficult like thing to concept um for me at least. So it's just decisions that I gotta make. But so far in this podcast, yeah, like I said, I wanted to grow it. So I want to make this podcast fun. Even I'm not trying to like I want views. Don't get me wrong. Like, listen, I want some monetizing on this goddamn podcast. But no, I want to make this fun. I want to throw games out there. I want there. I'm gonna try to react to some stories. Maybe you guys can tell me what's going on. Eventually, I'm hoping pretty soon. Once I get everything settled, I want to make this into a video podcast. So you guys can see my fucking fat face on your phones or TV or wherever you fucking see your podcasts. It's gonna be most likely on YouTube and TikTok. Clips will be on it on TikTok, but um, hopefully I can convince some of my family members to help me out with some video editing because I don't know, is that stuff kind of seems intimidating to me just a little bit. But yeah, I would like to video me. Um, you guys can watch me talk and see who's behind the voice. Um, but yeah, fun games, fun conversation. That's all I want for this podcast. Something therapeutic and something that people will be interested in listening to. And like I said, this is still fairly a young podcast, but so I'm not really too upset or too anything really that it hasn't grown since I first started. It looked like it was gonna, then it kind of fell off. So maybe that's on me. Maybe I gotta stop talking all sad. No, maybe the sad part will come later once I got enough followers. But let's see. But yeah, no, I apologize for being consistent. I want to put it out today at least. It's the only time I got some time. Then I gotta try to make money later on today, and I gotta make money the day after. Like I'm on my grind, even though I'm unemployed. I'm still doing some door dashing, right? Trying to make some money. It's not much, but I'll be damned if I don't have fucking money. So I'm grinding it out. I'm putting my 2 cents like my work in. I'm not gonna let this keep me down. All right. Because I don't know. I don't want to be a bum. I don't want to fucking sit in the goddamn house playing video games, sweating my balls off and jerking off. Like I've done that already. I've done that when I was younger. I'm not trying to do that shit. That's another thing too. I'm all right. I think I'm just gonna let these podcasts go as long as I want. So I want to make sure you guys understand that maybe it might not be an hour. I want to do an hour for you guys. I really do. It seemed like when I had a guest, this thing went on for almost an hour and a half. Now I'm just gonna do it whenever I get tired. So it might be 5 minutes. It might be a whole hour. We don't know. But I'm gonna talk until I don't want to talk. At least for right now. All right. But when things get going and things become more looking up for us, then yeah. And whoever's listening down, listen, you guys are official. You guys are my day ones now. Okay. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but I don't know what the hell happened to that one guy in Sweden that was listening to my podcast. And now that I have another guy in Germany that I can see listening to my podcast. So hey, Germany, you listened twice now on two different episodes, and yeah, I can see you guys listening. I can see where you are. Not exactly, but I can get a region. But that could be my father, to be honest, because my father travels like a motherfucker, and I can't blame him because I would like to travel too. But yeah, if you got the money, you got the money. Got the time, so be it. My father, like he works hard too. He works like 12 to 14 hour shifts a day. He's not afraid of working. So I commend him for that. But yeah, now my pops know about my podcast, so he'd be listening in. I hope, and hopefully, you know, maybe one day, if he's not too shy about it, that he'll be on the podcast too. One thing I do envy a little bit about him, which I wish is something that I had, is his charisma. You know, I noticed that both my brother-in-law and my father has charisma, which is always something I'm jealous about because I wish I had it. I don't have charisma. I have these deep, twisted, fucking dark thoughts in my head, but like it's all designed for comedy. See, like I wish I can just talk to people and just like make them laugh, make them like you. It's not me, and I don't know. I look, listen to me. I looked up YouTube videos. I've even taken some classes on it. I just suck at it, and that's just the way it is. And there's no shame about it. I'm just a different person. But I will say it has made me a target in the past. Like people look at me sometimes and feel either threatened, disgusted, or just nothing of it. Really, sometimes I'm just under the scope. Like some people don't even notice that when I walk into a room or when I'm around them. Sometimes just because they're not looking for me, or I just blend in sometimes. Um, so there's that. Um, what else? What else did I want to talk to you guys about? Oh, okay. So as you guys may know, I around Christmas time, I went. I told you guys I started going to church, and I also mentioned maybe two podcasts ago that since going to church, I've been not on my funny shit anymore, and I've noticed something, right? Like if I stop going to church, which I have stopped going for the last 2 weeks now, um, which by the way has not deterred me of my faith. It's just that things have been crazy and I can't afford the gas to go to church. So, I've been trying to live stream it on my TVs and stuff, but because the church does that. But I noticed that if I'm too gone from church, just too gone, the funny starts coming back. The thoughts, the twisted mind, the things I want to talk to you guys about, the things I want to bullshit about like homeless dick cheese and fucking, you know, I don't know, grinding up fucking toenails and smoking it. Like weird thoughts like that go through my head on a daily. But it's it's funny. Post church, nah, I don't have any of those thoughts. It's almost like I got cleansed. And then if I'm a little bit too far away from church, then they all coming back. Maybe it's psychological, I don't know, but it is interesting. But yeah, speaking of that, um, speaking of religion for a little bit, I'm not actually gonna go into God or nothing. I know that makes people uncomfortable, and I get that because I actually was that person that whenever somebody said to have love and faith in God, it was crawling my skin. It made me clench my teeth. It made me shrink my asshole. It made me fucking have a shiver down my spine. I almost felt like I wasn't even deserving of a religion. So, I had that thought for a very long time. I decided to let it go this year. Honestly, since I've let um let myself actually believe in something and actually stand on something, it's crazy what it did to me. I actually feel light, like almost light on air, if you will. Um, and I'm not saying you got to do religion. Listen, I've done everything. Okay, I went to church. I went to temple before to learn about Judaism. I went to forgot what it is. I forgot what I went to mosque before. I was trying to learn about the what was it? It was Buddhist or Hindu, something like that. It was one of those Middle Eastern religions. I forgot what it was, but it was years ago. But I tried. For a long time, I consider myself to be a Taoist. Um, but yeah, I'm like a mixture of things. Even to this day, I wouldn't even say that I'm a Christian. I would say more like I have a relationship with God, and that's it. And me and God, I would say that's it. We're just like that. We talk, we we talk to each other. I understand what I need to do, and that's all that it needs to be. Like if I feel like I'm getting out of track, I'll make sure to check in. But other than that, I've always treated people exactly the same, which is with the respect, and hopefully we can have good conversations and bullshit. That's all I want from people. I don't try to ask for money. I don't try to, bother them. And I don't try to pick fights or anything like that. But yeah, the what was I gonna say? No, but after that, I would say around New Year's Eve, something happened to me, which is I got almost flushed with like because I decided to let it all go, all the hatred and everything. I got flushed with a shitload of wisdom and a shitload of advice and a shitload of understanding other people. Like, and I'm not even trying to toot my own horn. There is other people that can confirm that when I speak to them, it's almost like I'm being a therapist in a way. Like I'm actually like I'm dissecting things. I'll give you an example. Like me and my girl, I'll say maybe it's about a week or two back. We actually had an argument, a little bit of an argument where I made some joke. I made some joke about her having 1,000 tumblers and shit like that, and she never drinks any like out of any of them. She's like a hoarder with them. That's my that was my joke with her. I saw it as a joke. You see, she didn't though. She felt defensive. She's like, "Oh, I'm not like those other hoes that has like Stanley cups. Like these are just regular Dollar Tree cups that I like. I'm not even spending hundreds of dollars." And then yada yada yada, talk, fucking complain. And I could have, trust me, past me would have argued back. But for some reason, I dissected it, and I said, and I calmed down. I asked her to calm down, and I actually had a grown up argument with her, which is me telling her like, "Hey, I understand that I upsetted you, and if I made you feel this way, then I am sorry. And it was not my intention to make you feel this way. In fact, this is my sincere apology for making you feel this way. And I would like to talk about this further. Is it really about the cup, or is it something deeper? Is there something that I've done earlier today that made you upset?" And dissecting everything that we talk about, because obviously, who gets mad over a cup? But no, it could have been something deeper. So, but that's what I'm talking about. It's like me. I'm not actually trying to argue with people anymore. I'm trying to actually understand why they're angry with me and understand what can I do different, or how can we prevent this in the future. And this is fascinating to me because I've actually never given myself um, the opportunity to do this with people in the past. In the past, I would be very petty. Okay, like I would turn off the fucking water to the toilet, right? Because women doesn't know how to do like turn that shit back on for the most part. All right, I will tighten up fucking milks and jars around the house because she's gonna need me eventually. All right, I will make sure that I unplug microwaves and stoves and shit like that, or unscrew light bulbs. Like I will be petty, little things, nothing to harm anybody, enough where they're gonna want my help, and they want to, like they're gonna want to do that little "Can you open this for me?" voice right after they just fucking threw your shit across the fucking house and shit, complaining that you ain't doing shit. And but yeah, no, it is fascinating that I'm going through, like, I would consider myself going through a metamorphosis in a way, but that's not gonna stop me from being who I am. I'm still gonna have these thoughts. I'm still gonna want to be funny, and I'm still gonna want to help people at the end of the day. So if I can do that, for sure. But it's funny because if I'm being honest with you, I'm like, I wasn't raised this way, and that fascinates me. Um, like if I had to describe how I was raised with my mother for the beginning years of my life, I would say this woman was always living through struggle, just like I'm living through struggle. But the thing is that I'm trying not to live through struggle. She was almost comfortable with it. She wanted to, steal from stores and pick fights with people and cause nothing but mayhem. And honestly, maybe my pettiness comes from her because who else has these fucking ideas? But so yeah, nothing in that side of my blood would scream out that understanding and patient with people. Not at all. See, now my father, on the other hand, my father he has the intellectual side. He is a pretty smart guy. Um, Sometimes he could be rash, sometimes with his emotions, because he is very attached to his emotions too. And sometimes the thoughts are not correlating to rational when he's upset. But most times he is a pretty intellectual being, and he is somebody who I respect at the end of the day because of his worth ethic. And yeah, and not only that, but he's always, as much as he doesn't understand who I am as a person, really, he's always at least tried to help me, and I do appreciate that. But growing up with my father, I would say I've learned plethora of things when it comes to knowledge, but when it comes to like emotional intelligence, that is something that I couldn't learn from him because he also, I would say that he was raised with a single mother, and his mother was my grandmother was always working, and I've also experienced a similar fate where my father was always working. And but that doesn't deter the love that I have for this guy. It's just we didn't have the opportunity to connect as much as I want to. We do have a bond, but we're just two vastly different people. Which is funny because my sister would compare us almost identically a little bit. Apparently, to her and to some other people, that I have his voice at times. My gesture, my jokes, the way I handle things will reflect off of him, and sometimes even my laugh. So I am almost a copy of my father, but I learn from my parents. I learned from their mistakes growing up. The thing is that my mother and my father had me at a young age. My mother 19, my father was I believe 21 or 20, something like that. I think 21. Or 22, something like that. But early 20s. So I'm 27. I'm going to be 28 this year in August. And still not a father. And by 28 or 27, my father was already a father of two children, me and my sis. So I can't imagine being a father right now because I don't feel like I'm ready. I don't feel like I'm in a financial position. I feel like I have the love for my children that I haven't even been born. Like every time think about me being a father, it brings almost a tear to my eye because I have this unrenounced love for them, and I don't even know who they are yet. But yeah, I do want to be a father one day. That's for sure, and I want to look after them. Mm. And so that's a lesson I learned from my father. He was a father of two, and he was a single father for the most time. And even I don't ever wish my kids to go through what I went through with divorce. Like I said before, I spend more days in a courtroom than I've ever than on playgrounds or anything like that. And but no, luckily I chose a woman that is actually understanding. And to this day, as many times that we had arguments, I will say I give credit to this woman that I have never heard her raise her voice, and I give credit to that. Nah, she has hit me a couple times, but it's okay. I can take it. Um, and then probably I deserved it too. Um, but yeah, so God, I keep getting sidetracked. It's that ADHD thing. I don't even know what I was talking about earlier about this podcast. I just want how I find it interesting. I guess that I'm not a spitting image of both parents simultaneously. I'm trying to be something better for the new generation. But there's going to be some elements that I am planning to do with my children that I've learned from the old school that I would like to carry over. Um, One thing's for sure is that I don't want, as much as I loved playing video games and taking my anger out in war games, and I remember my father like playing in the living room, playing in the living room. I think it was on the PlayStation 2. Um, playing Metal Gear Solid. I think it was Metal Gear Solid 2. Everybody looked like a block on the video game, and I kept shooting people in the groin, and that was what my favorite thing. It was like a visitation thing, but it was a memory that I have. It might be two memories split into two because I remember just him, and then I also remember a bunch of guys in the living room. I think we were eating bagel bites. I remember that. So yeah, seemed like it was my uncle Johnny, which R.I.P. Johnny, and my cousin Waska, and my father. That's what I remember. Maybe my cousin Abel as well. Um, but these could be false memories. I was very young, a very young age. I must have been 5 or 6. But no, those are core memories for me. So, but one thing I wish my father didn't do, which I understand he was young too, so I'm not gonna fault him, but was introduced me to video games. I will say video games has been almost a poison on my life. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, playing video games is fun. And it's always fun to do recreationally, but I felt like the nights that I spent playing video games and killing people online and being competitive, those are core memories too. Like I have fond memories meeting new people and speaking to people across the world and learning new things. But at the same time, like I spent more time on video games than I've ever done on my own studies. I didn't get into knowledge. Like it's a fascination between science and a whole bunch of shit. Like I was fascinated in science, art, and what you call it. I guess it's considered a science. Like it's kind of phys ed, but they mixed like biology with it. It was a thing. It was like sports medicine kind of thing when I was in high school. But I didn't get into knowledge in general until, or in history, until when I was already what do you call that? A junior in high school. I was already late. I spent all my freshman year bullshitting. I spent my sophomore year regretting the bullshitting, but still bullshitting. In the junior year, I realized that I was going to be left behind. Like, and I decided to make an executive decision on my own. Nobody had to tell me, but I made the decision to sign myself up for like summer school, and I grind that shit out. All right, I went to the classes. I got my extra credits. I after that year, I made sure that I did my homework. I was studying. And you know what? I was actually enjoying it in a way, except for some teachers. Some teachers were cunts, but we always got those. Um, but yeah, no, I was enjoying it, but it was just too late. Like I still got to graduate on time, but I wish I would have put that effort in. So yeah, hopefully I can become in a financial part in my life where I can homeschool my kids. Um, and don't get me wrong, I know it's very important for kids to interact with other kids. So I was thinking about signing them up for like sports and stuff like that, something to get them out of the house and meet new people. But as far as school goes, I know that statistically speaking, they have a better chance of actually being educated when they're at home. And then by the time they get to the high school age, I was hoping that they can make a decision on whether they want to keep doing homeschool or if they would like to be with their students or their peers. And even then, hey, listen, it's only going to be 4 years. So, I was going to see about like putting them in private school or some shit, like some kind of quality education. None of that public school shit. But yeah. So hopefully I can get in that position. Hopefully tech can provide me a fat little fucking check so I can do that for my kids. Because that's what I'm here for. I'm working hard now so I can have a better future, but also my kids can have a better future. And I would like to spend more time with them if I can. Um so yeah, guys, I know I just fucking deterred a little bit from how this podcast was supposed to be, and I'm just talking to you guys like you're my friends now, which is sad because I don't even know who any of you are except for a few. But yeah, no, the invitation's still on the table. If you guys want to write in, be my guest. If you guys want to just say hello, I'll say hello back. But it's about almost 40 minutes into the podcast, and I think I said what I needed to say. And this is good. I didn't have any stops because if I would have went for a whole hour, I would have had to find 20 more minutes of what the hell to talk about, which I don't have. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna try to get into the habit of writing down everything that goes through my head that I want to talk about, and and hopefully I can come up with a better content for you guys. All right, and hopefully this job goes through and I can crank it out. And oh, one more thing. It's gonna be real quick though. Before I say goodbye, the New Year's resolutions. I I started implementing something, and I want to know if you guys would benefit from this. But everybody makes a New Year resolution, right? New Year, new me bullshit. I told you guys, you guys are more likely to fail than anything. It's about to be February, so we all know you fat fucks didn't do what I told you in the previous podcasts. So it's okay. That's fine. But it is almost February. So if you guys are still grinding it out in the gym, congratulations. You're one of the few because everybody knows that like gym memberships just be falling off around this time. Um, all it's doing is just racking up your bill, and you got to go to the fucking gym to cancel. You can't do it online. And anyways, but here's the thing: everybody sets goals for the year, right? Oh, it's 2024. I want to lose 100 pounds. I want to get it the executive job. I want to, you know, spend more time with my spouse or whatever. Like you got these goals, right? Wrong. Wrong. You're doing it wrong. I'd rather you guys do it like this. And like if you guys ever worked a corporate job, you would know that corporate doesn't work with the year. Corporate works with quarters. Quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. That's how your goals should be. Quarters. So between January through what's a quarter? March, right? Month number 3. Yeah, March. Um, from January to March, I want you to have a goal, but I want you to be setting yourself a goal, but make sure it's attainable too. So if my goal for this first quarter was to get a job, now it looks like I have two lined up. That was a goal. But now I have to follow my other goals, right? Let's just say your goal for the year was to lose 100 pounds. Well, now guess what? You have to lose 25 pounds within 3 months, which is doable. You can do that. You can change your eating habits. You can put a little cardio in there. You can, it's possible, but you also gotta you know, give yourself attainable goals. And believe it or not, once you give yourself goals for the quarters, well, now not only that your 2024 goals has been accomplished if you did it right, but sometimes you wind up racking up more goals than you even planned for in the beginning of the year. Right? You might actually do more. You might actually lose 110 pounds. You might actually not just get the executive job, but now you have the company car or fucking a bonus or whatever. But that's what I want. That's what I'm doing. I'm not sure if it's gonna work out for you guys, but I think it's very beneficial to think like a person with money would think, and a person with money that is a millionaire or a billionaire or quadrillionaire, whatever, is that they think like a business, right? In order to be a businessman, you got to be a business man. Okay, shout out to Jay Z. But think of it in quarters. And honestly, if it works, perfect. Now you found your groove. You found how to do it. Okay, if you have a goal for the year, but you think quarter one might not do it quarter two. But make sure you're working on it. Don't give up. Okay, don't even look at the whole year, because when you look at the whole year, you're gonna either do two things. One, I have to get this done right away, right? And you're gonna try to be rushing it, and you're gonna fuck up. Or two, you're gonna think that you have all this time to do it, and then when you do that, guess what? It's gonna just be left for 2025, and that's gonna be left for 2026, and that's gonna be left for 2027. Okay, my goal, yeah, I would love to lose weight. Don't get me wrong, but that's not my goal. I gave myself an attainable goal, which is I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm trying to change my eating habits. I'm trying to get healthy. Because when I learn to get healthy, when I learn to to change who I am on the outside, then everything on the inside will follow. Okay, it would just follow, and vice versa. If you're trying to change the inside, the outside will follow. But give yourself attainable goals. Is all I'm saying, and I want to see you guys succeed. I really do, and I'm proud to hear some people actually been going to the gym and changing their lifestyles, and that's all I want to see. All right, um, all right, guys. I said what I needed to say. It's it's not a long podcast, but hopefully this filled your car ride or your whatever. All right, guys. Later. Love you. See you next time.